Hey everybody, welcome back. Today's video is one I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've ranked all the kart parts in Mario Kart, I've ranked all the items, and now it's time for the best 200cc courses in Mario Kart. So ranking all the courses is going to be a little different. Now with kart parts, I could be mostly objective when ranking them, and items were a little more subjective, but with courses, I really can't say which are objectively the best. It's all going to come down to a matter of opinion. So this list is going to be mostly based on what I think are the most fun courses to race on. So just remember that if I end up putting your favorite course in last place, I'm sorry, but this is just my opinion. So I'm basing this course on how fun they are for me, and for me, I think the courses that make you do a lot of quick turns and make you think about how you should use your mini turbos are the best. I think that these courses suit Mario Kart 8's mechanics well because every Mario Kart game is different when you look at the mechanics. Okay, so now that I got all that out of the way, we can get to the actual list. At number 48, we have Toad's Turnpike. Now, remember how I said the best courses are the ones with quick and sharp turns? Yeah, this one has two. It's not just that Toad's Turnpike has literally two turns, it's that the two turns are exactly the same, and the cars that could make the course more interesting are painfully easy to avoid. I mean, occasionally I'll hit a car, but that's just because I'm zoning out playing this incredibly boring track. But it's not about the cars, I like car tracks. Moonview Highway is one of my favorite tracks in Mario Kart Wii, and I would have much rather them remake that one instead of Toad's Turnpike. Because that track was challenging and made you be careful around every corner because of how much faster the cars went. Toad's Turnpike is just a bad track, and nobody is going to convince me otherwise. At number 47, we have Water Park. This course's theme seems kind of cool at first, but then that's it. The design of this course is just too basic. You go around the first wide turn, then you go around another wide turn. There's really no skill involved here. And this track is really just based on luck. I get that it's in the Mushroom Cup so that I can show off the underwater mechanics of Mario Kart 8, but the underwater mechanics are nearly identical to the regular game mechanics, so to me that doesn't add anything to the course. When you get rid of the water, it's easy to see how boring this course really is. Next, we have Excitebike Arena, or as I like to call it, Baby Park, but long! I guess the concept is kind of cool for this one. The changing track segments is an interesting concept, but it never makes a difference when I'm always just going on an assortment of ramps. And the reason it doesn't work like Baby Park is because it's too long. Baby Park's whole thing was being short and letting items fill up the whole course, but this track has nothing. Tricking isn't as fun as it was in Mario Kart Wii, and this track is practically only luck-based because there are no turns where you can even get ahead. Mario Circuit is another course that's just a figure eight, but it deserves a little more credit than Toad's Turnpike. This course at least has a little bit of strategy because there are large off-road segments that actually make using your items somewhat strategic. Other than that, there really isn't very much to say about this course. I still think it's pretty boring. Up next is Dolphin Shoals. Aside from having a really good soundtrack, this course doesn't have much else to offer. Like I said earlier, underwater driving is not very different than regular driving, so making a course underwater is not an excuse to have only 3 turns. This track is actually really creative, I'll give it that, but it seems like half the course is just driving straight. Even the pipe section, while very unique, is just a straightaway, and the effect of jumping over a chasm on pipes wears off fast. This course has a lot of interesting parts, but what it really comes down to is, do I have fun on this course? And sadly, the answer is no. At number 43, we have Twisted Mansion. Now this is kind of a controversial pick, but I have reasoning. Twisted Mansion is the best example of a gimmick course. It's in the game to seem cool and show off the anti-gravity, but when you ignore the anti-gravity, the track is really basic. Because the anti-gravity sections don't change the way you drive, when you have an anti-gravity straightaway, like half of this track is, there's really no difference. There aren't any interesting obstacles either. You can't hit any of the fish, and the statues at the end serve the same purpose as piranha plants. The only part of this course I like is actually the underwater portion. You need to make a lot of quick turns, and there's a lot of strategy based on where you can throw your items and how tight you take the turns. This just shows that water courses don't have to be bad. They're just all boring, much like Twisted Mansion is once you get past all the gimmicks. I've been pretty critical of these last courses, but I actually really like most of the courses in this game, and those were the only courses that I really don't like, so everything from this point on, I somewhat like. At number 42, I have Baby Park. Now, a lot of people really like this course, and I've even made a video talking about it, but as fun as the chaotic 7 laps of this track are, it's not fun for very long. It's a fun idea, but it just doesn't challenge the player as much as other courses, and it's definitely more of a luck track. But I still appreciate Baby Park nonetheless. I've played Mario Kart DS a lot, so I feel bad putting Cheep Beach this low. The aesthetic overhaul on this track is actually breathtaking when you compare it to the DS version, so I'm really happy that it's in Mario Kart 8. But when you really look at it, Cheep Beach is a very simple track. It has some cool shortcuts that I like, and the ending section in the forest area is really fun, but a lot of the other areas in this track are just lacking, and I feel like the fact that you can now go underwater kind of takes away from the dynamic track design this course had back in Mario Kart DS. Because in that game, the middle section of the track would change, and you would have to drive it differently depending on how the tide was. But overall, I still do really like this track. Sweet Canyon has a cool theme, but I just feel like races on this track are never really that fun. The beginning of the track just has a long canyon, and that kind of feels out of place here. The middle and end of the track are definitely better, but they don't particularly make for good races. The split paths divide the racers, and that just makes this section overall less competitive. I do really like the end of this track though. The donut shortcut is creative and also very fun to do, but I really like it when courses put shortcuts at the end of tracks, because it makes you think about when you want to use your mushroom. Because if you save it until the end of the track, then you can possibly pull ahead at the end. Shortcuts at the end of courses like this is something that more tracks should take advantage of. Mario Kart 8's Rainbow Road is definitely the worst Rainbow Road in any Mario Kart game. You don't even feel like you're racing on a rainbow. I know that's not what I'm basing this list on, but come on. This course does have some good in it though. The beginning turns are hard, and it's probably one of the hardest sequences in the game. Other than that though, there isn't much else this course has to offer. The section at the end with the 2 paths is pretty good, and I like that there's a path switch shortcut here. It's really fun to drive off the road and land back on another path. But overall, Mario Kart 8's Rainbow Road just really is not that great. Thwomp Ruins is a really fun track, but it's also near the bottom of my list. There isn't too much to say about this track. I really like the shortcut at the beginning and the section at the end, but this is a Mushroom Cup track, and it really shows when you actually realize how simple this track is. Donut Plains 3 is also another simple track, but it's actually pretty hard on 200cc. The lake shortcut can be especially difficult when you're going so fast. While this track does have a lot of what I find fun in the course, I don't think the quick turns are very fun on this specific course, and there's actually a lot of straightaways here. Donut Plains is definitely a good course, but it's just not my favorite. And that's going to be the end of part 1. I hope you enjoyed this series as much as I do. I know I said that a lot of these courses are bad, and I'm sorry if you don't think so, but I can legitimately have fun on any of these courses, so don't take my list too seriously. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.